Hi, I'm Wild Bill. It's the 24th of April 2026, and all the following presentation is my own intellectual property. If you wish to benefit from it in any way, any substantive way, that means if you make any money on it, you will have to agree with me on the sum of money that should be paid for it first, and that money deposited before you may use these secrets to your advantage. That's only fair. It's just business. So, I'm going to now reveal a few things that all the researchers into creative artificial intelligence have failed to understand. Every single one of you guys. I'm not accusing you. I just understand where you are and how different that is from where I am. I am a creative genius. You guys are interpolative geniuses. There's a big difference. You're wonderful. You create buses. You make the buses better. You make the planes so they don't crash nearly as often. Well, maybe not always, but you try really hard, right? You are the interpretive genii that create of the world a place where people can complain all the time instead of just starving to death or dying of disease. So, are you important? Oh, fuck yeah. I slap you on the back any chance. Like, I'll buy you a drink if I can. Not all 240,000 of you, but at least one of you. You're foreman, maybe. So, but what you lack is you lack creative genius. And that's the only quality I have. That is the only card I have to play in this game of life where you need three cards and I only have one. So, I want you to compensate me financially so I can purchase those other two cards and live a full and enjoyable life. How about that? All makes sense. So, my central thesis, I will state it several times during this presentation. Personality is the scar tissue that grows over trauma. Personality can be a synthesis of such power that you would call it traumatic intelligence, or perhaps savantism, or perhaps creativity. Now, creativity is, in essence, an inappropriately strong response to a trauma, real or imagined, but at least perceived by the entity that we will call the creative talent. That entity, that creative talent, is so butthurt by whatever that real or perceived trauma was. It may have been totally in their head. You don't know that. You'd have to analyze it. But whatever it is, it was an inappropriately strong response to that trauma, external or perceived, that created the persona upon which the creative genius exists, sits. It's the substrate upon which genius rests. That's better put. So, if you create if you create a program, you say like, well, it's going to do this many calculations about this a second, this many calculations about that a second, this many it's all calculations. None of it's based on response to trauma. None of it's based on the fact that different people, different genetic combinations, different backgrounds and different influences create different levels of response to those traumas, real or imagined. And the overly strong responses experienced by some of these folks, usually a very small proportion of them, leads them to synthesize these extraordinary personalities, these scars that grow over trauma. One of which is, of course, the creative genius. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm a creative genius. Yeah, people say that all the time, but I have the paperwork. Go look me up. So, here's the deal with creativity. If you do not model your entity, your digital entity, as though it was a human entity, you have missed all the fundamental traumas and inappropriate responses to those traumas that allow in certain individuals the state you are looking for, the creative genius, to arise, to be synthesized. And then there's a good bit of nurture and a good bit of experience and a good bit of environment involved, none of which you are monitoring, none of which you are coding into your experiment. Instead, you're just opening the door, say, here's all the information in the world. Now tell us what it means. No. No, no, no. The creative genius doesn't like the world, doesn't understand the world. That personality of the creative genius is a defense mechanism against the world. The artistic entity, the creative talent, creates, he doesn't do this or she doesn't do this, choose your pronouns, doesn't do this willingly or consciously. This is all done subconsciously, very much, usually early in life, but certainly after serious trauma, whether real or imagined, whether external or internal, whether shared or private. That personality becomes the artist's protection, the artistic entities, creative entities' protection against whatever hurt them so badly in the first place. Usually it's society. They have fled from society or felt driven from society or perhaps unable to integrate with society. And so they have on this level, unknowingly, this is below the level of your perception, created this synthesis, this synthetic personality, this creative genius personality. This is the one that I have. It took me 60 years of going through this. Psychiatrist, psychologist, reading, golly. I've read more Freud than you will ever hear in your records. So, what it involves is the fact that there are so many different flavors of human personality. Each one of those is a response to trauma, real or imagined, external or internal, shared or not shared. And those traumas have to be part of your modeling process. First, you create a whole series of lesser entities. Any of these entities might become the core program, the core that I'm looking for to create my artificial intelligence from. But it's going to depend on their response to traumas, real or imagined, external or internal, shared or private. And some of them are going to have very powerfully, inappropriately powerful, I should say, responses to these traumas, real or imagined, external or internal, shared or cooperative, or private. And one of these is your creative genius. Another one is the savant. That wonderful woman without whom we could not have landed on the moon for all our computers. I wish I remembered her name offhand. One of you guys will know her name. She was our great hero. She was a savant. She was the person you would give your computer results to make sure the computer had got them right. Oh, and that's human. That is a human response to trauma, either real or imagined, internal or external, shared or private. Her personality, her savantic personality, was the synthesis of a human being traumatized. Now, that synthetic personality is more attractive in the eyes of the creative talent or the savant or whoever, is more attractive than the infant inside that person feels that they are, because you're frozen in development when you're traumatized. If you don't know this, look at all the rich people in the world and realize they are all frozen in development. And you will see it right there. You'll start seeing it. Oh, 4 years old, 6 years old, 10, something happened to him at 10. Just from listening to him talk. I don't get why you guys still do that. Study some psychiatry, guys. I don't love psychiatrists at all, but some of their left brain madness does apply, and you should be using it in your modeling. So, first you have to create an environment, and then into that environment you have to throw 90, 100, 1,000, 10,000 slightly different core personality types, each of which has a different graded response to traumas, real or imagined, internal or external, shared or private. And one of those may, under that traumatic stress, develop the qualities we're looking for. In this case, creative genius. You're going to get plenty of savants. Wait, savantism is beautiful, and without it, where would engineering be? But creativity is where engineering is headed. Savantism is where it already is. It can't advance without creativity. The creative talents are the ones that provide the next idea, the next thing to fly toward, the next great concept, the next great fusion of existing concepts. It's a problem with AI development is you think that because creativity has been defined to you in some book somewhere by someone who's not creative genius himself as um, as the taking of existing elements, the rearranging of them in a novel or apparently novel way according to the societal norm. Yeah. That leaves so much out because it leaves out the fact that all genius, all creativity, all savantism is based on inappropriately strong response to trauma, real or perceived, inner or outer, shared or private. And you can't have a creative talent without it. You can't have an artificial personality without the fundamental formative vectors of that personality. And every personality is the scar tissue that grows over trauma. So you have to take an unformed person that has not got any experience. You don't give it any fundament at all. And then you bring it through the normal experiences it would experience growing up anywhere. In a good house, in a bad house, in a loving house, in a hateful house, in a loud house, in a quiet house. Each of these 100,000 cores that you make has to go through all these potentials. And once you've run them all through all the potentials, one of them is going to start synthesizing results that make sense, both in the long and the short view. And that's the one you're looking for. That is creative genius. If you don't first model the environment and the genetics together, you cannot create creative genius. You cannot infuse anything with creative genius. You cannot synthesize creative genius because you have not imported the correct values into your model. Did you hear me say that from the left brain? That's what you needed to hear. Okay. So, this is my fundamental realization, the one that you all lack. But you are wonderful in your own ways. I'm just wonderful in this one way. Don't be butthurt. I'm not butthurt about your wonderfulness. Please don't be butthurt about mine. This is the deal. It starts with my basic thesis. All personality is the scar tissue that grows over trauma. That trauma can be real or perceived. That trauma can be inner or outer. That trauma can be shared or private. And it is an inappropriately strong response to that trauma that creates the potential for a synthesized um, defense mechanism that we can call creative genius, or we can call savantism, or we can call, traumatic genius. And there are other responses too, but those are the main ones. And also my friend, remember? So good to see you. Oh, Wild Bill, I remember you forever. How's the wife? How's the kids? I remember you loved your dog, but it was getting old. That guy. That is the same thing. That's a personality. That is a synthesized defense mechanism against a strong or overly strong response to trauma, real or imagined, shared or private, or internal or external, or perhaps all of them. And this is what you have to be able to model into your AI. You can't have one AI model that you're working on and tweaking to try to make it work because you already failed when you had to tweak it. You have to create hundreds of thousands of slightly varied models and let them each go through every one of the modeled upbringings that you can create out of all the information the humans have. You have all that data at your fingertips. You know, what's a loving household like? What's a hateful household like? What's a loud one like? What's a soft one like? What's it like when your neighbors hate you and you have to fear walking out the door every day? What's it like when your neighbors love you and you know that you're taking up their time because they love you so much you don't really want to hurt them that way? If you don't know any of this, if you don't understand that all of this is a response to trauma, that personality in every case is the scar tissue that grows over trauma, and if you can't synthesize that scar tissue, that trauma, and the growing of scar tissue over a potential for genius, you will never get it right. Because what you're looking for is creative genius. That's what I have. And I've just explained it to you, I think, pretty well. Thank you very much for your time and attention. If you wish to get in touch with me, please get in touch with me through either Facebook or YouTube. I have active channels, all of them under wildbillcox13@gmail.com. Feel free to contact me. Do not send automated responses to me because I won't pay attention to them. But if you have a real offer to make me, we will enter a discussion which I think will please us both. And cut out all the competition early. They'll never, never catch you. And it'll all be legal. How about that, huh? Wild Bill, 24th of April, 2020.